Look at that pretty backyard. Ain't she sweet? And a doghouse. There's a dog in there. You can't see him, but he's in there. What up, YouTube? I haven't made a video in a while. And, the end. Who cares? Moving on. I, just moved into a new place. And it's right there, behind me. In it pretty. I'm gonna walk you through it in a second. But, I since moved out of my dad's. Was, living in my van for a while. And then I went over to Missouri City to check out to accept a Muay Thai job there as an instructor, but the gym wasn't established, I didn't have any clients, and there wasn't going to be enough hours for me. So now I'm living here and started teaching at a middle school, but I've been to all the gyms in the area, which is only about 3, and the rest of them are pajama parties, and they're not competition gyms. So I'm thinking pretty soon here I'm gonna have to move, which makes Hulk sad. It's very comfortable, but I can't really achieve my dreams here, so I'm gonna have to keep on rolling. I've been doing some grilling this morning. So far today, I think I've eaten at least a pound of pork steak. It's so good. You wanna see it? She's pretty. Look at all that pork steak. Nom nom nom. I picked up like 40 pounds of meat for $1 a pound, 99 cents a pound, and so I got all kinds of chicken and pork to go through. This is oh yeah, I'm supposed to be giving you a tour. I'm supposed to be navigating. All right, this is my roommate. He's kind of a mess, as you can tell. I mean, every flat surface is piled high with stuff. But this is the kitchen. It's a very nice kitchen, and I gotta say I've been doing lots of cooking since I've been here. TV, which he watches a whole lot. That's his room over there. And see, more piles of stuff. He watches a lot of TV, hell of a lot more TV than I do. It's all dark back here. I've been putting in some outlets, and things ain't been working out so well. The bathroom. Oh look, it's a shirtless man making a video. And this is a room that we just painted. We're doing a lot of work in the house, painting rooms and doing some electrical. And this is my room, kind of a mess. Got a bed, window. Oh, it's so dark. There we go. Closet. Get some light. There we go. And armoire and dresser. Really, all you need. All I really need to survive is my clothes. And a good place to train. I haven't found that yet. The best feature of one of the gyms around here was that they had a giant rice husk filled bag, which was really hard, and when you hit it, man, it felt good. Not like a lot of the boxing bags around here, which are just soft and weigh like 80 pounds. And it's like, boop. You just tap them and they fly all over the fucking place. So, what I'm going to have to do is I'm going to have to move. To get the fuck out of here. Greg Jackson's is, by and large, the best gym around, according to the consensus. And they've got a hell of a lot of good fighters there. And a lot of good fighters my size. I'm a heavyweight. Right now I weigh about 220, 225, depending on what day it is. And I want to get up to 250. So that requires regular access to a gym with lots of heavy weight and good supply of protein in my diet. I got 40 pounds of meat in the freezer. I got enough meat for at least the next couple of weeks. So what I have to do for the next little while is finish off all that food that I just bought, and then I'm probably gonna move again. There's a gym in North Houston with, they've only got one UFC fighter, I think, and his name is Andrew Craig. And he's a lot smaller than I am, but it's called Team Took. But I hear that they're very good, and they've got a lot of people there. And they also have a 30-day free trial membership. So if I like it, I may end up staying. I'll let y'all know how that goes. There's one gym I'm in League City, Texas, which is just below Houston. There's one gym around here called Fusion Fight Co., and they're a small-time gym, just started up, and they're more hobbyists. You know, they're all basically beginners, and you know, this is their first introduction to any kind of fighting. So, I mean, they have a lot to grow, and I'm not so sure they're going to go places. I wasn't super thrilled with the quality of their instruction or the competency of their fighters. But they're new. Give them time. They may surprise me. There's another gym around here called American Combative Systems, and they're also a new gym, but they've got a lot of drive, they've got a lot of motivation, but they don't seem to have the skills or the knowledge. They seem to be mostly a Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu wrestling gym, and their striking is very subpar. And I'm mostly a striker, so that's where my background comes from. Their wrestling and Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu could be shit. I mean, I wouldn't really be able to evaluate it. There's also a boxing gym. I had some friends would. Boxing isn't exactly something I want to do. Not to mention, after talking to the owner, I found out that pretty much every boxing organization in America is run through USA Boxing, which is a load of crap. I mean, what happened to the joy of fighting? Fighting is something intrinsic to the human spirit. You can't legislate and organize it. It can't be bound up by a set of fixed rules. Fighting is as natural to human beings as sex, breathing, or eating. I mean, wouldn't it be absurd if there was an organization that mandated the requirements for sexual activity? Whatever. I guess we do have that for eating. It's called the FDA, but no one listens to them. They're stupid. What I'm really on the quest for is a gym with the passion for combat. Kind of like a fight club. People who are willing to eschew rules, expectations, and how things should be done in favor of experiencing more of what fighting has to offer. Fighting, for me, it's liberation. When you're struggling for survival, you're not really, but your mind thinks it is. Everything else in your life disappears. For the moment that you are fighting, you experience purity of being. Who is it that said, we aren't striving for happiness in life. We're striving for an experience of being, or an experience of existence. And I have to say that that's true. Fighting isn't good, it's not bad, it's just a moment of full presence. You're not anywhere else when you're in a fight. You really can't afford to be. And it's a great way to achieve flow, because the circumstance forces you to excel. Otherwise, you get your head stoved in. When you're forced to excel, when the challenge and your skills rise to meet the occasion, then you're in a state of flow. And flow is a state of happiness. And that's what fighting gives me. I have to say that since I've discovered fighting, no other hobby really compares in its necessity. I can go without reading or running or internet even, I think. But without fighting, I just become frustrated and stifled. It's liberating to just be completely wrecked and exhausted, at least once a week or so. And I like to find a place that does that really commits to the fight. If I don't find one, maybe one day I'll build my own. We'll see how that goes. So, summation. In the future, lots of moving, Lots more fighting. Dating, I've really done well for myself. I've met lots of different people and become quite social. I feel like before I traveled, before I knew what it was like to integrate myself into a new environment, I was sort of slow. Now that I've gone and done it a few times, I feel like I'm getting the hang of it. Now I meet people easily. I walk up to them, I say hi. And I've learned a system of, I don't want to say judgment, but qualification. Before, I used to be offended if someone wasn't happy. It used to bug me, it used to disturb me. But now I think I've come to a point in my life where I realize that people aren't all as good as we believe them to be when we are children. Some people are bitter. Some people are unhappy. Some people have really fucking negative views of the world. I mean, when you think of the extremes, I mean, there are people out there who are willing to chop little children up and put them in the walls of their house. I mean, that's a person out there who exists, and there's probably more than one of them. Now, that's an extreme of debilitating psychosis, but if you think of the extremes, there's a hell of a lot more people who are less extreme than that. And that's a mindset that I could never comprehend. I could never put myself there. I would never say never, but right now I can't. So if there are people who are just that broken, who are that disconnected from humanity, what's to say that 20 out of the 30 people you meet every day don't have some form of the same thing? I like to think that the most repulsive examples of humanity only have a greater extent of what we have to a minority, to a lesser extent. They have a greater... The most repulsive elements of humanity only have to a greater extent what we have to a lesser extent. So we judge them for being completely outrageous, but how many of us in our day-to-day activities have brushed off someone's needs, have turned a blind eye to the state of others, have remained thoughtless or careless in our day-to-day activities? If you take this ability to ignore, to refrain in our compassion when dealing with others, all those extreme and sick examples are magnifications of those same qualities that we display to each other every day. When someone walks up to you and you're rude to them and you brush them off, is not that exactly the same thing that someone does when they are brutally violent to someone? They're taking out their anger and their frustration while ignoring the needs and the suffering of their victim. It's a little easier to understand. It's a little easier to be compassionate. And so now, I don't really expect people to treat me well because they don't treat anyone well. The qualities that they show towards me are qualities that they exhibit. And those qualities are their own responsibility. So I've learned to qualify people, to look for people with a good reaction. And if people don't give a good reaction, then they're probably not good people. It sounds obvious to say, but when you're sitting there wondering, why are people not so nice? Not all people, some people. Just remember, there are psychos out there. The end. Have fun, Internet. Remember, relax, be good to each other. don't take yourself so seriously.